Hello, everyone. It's Miss Debbie from NACOG Head Start for Story Time. And this is the fourth story in our series about the Three Little Pigs. This time, I am going to introduce the characters and the problem in the story. The true story of the Three Little Pigs, this book that I'm about to read, is about the wolf in the story. The wolf wants everyone to know what really happened. He doesn't want anyone to think he is bad. The wolf was framed. That means he was treated unfairly. So let's hear his story and see if anyone believes him. Okay, the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Okay, this is As Told to John Sitzka, and it's illustrated by Lane Smith. Look, we know what he's doing there. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I will let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze, a chew, and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I called out, little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar from my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. Oh, I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. Oh my, that's a big sneeze. Look at that. Wow. And you know what? That whole darn straw house just fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw. Well, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. Well, I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house with sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house, and nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob, when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down, just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig dead as a doornail. Oh my gosh. Wolf's honor. Wolf's honor. I think this wolf might be scaring the pigs when he knocks on their doors. What do you think? Okay, moving on. Now you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full. But my cold was feeling a little better. But I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house and no answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little pig answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. Oh, I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can just go without her birthday cake. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny and is mean, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The news reporters found out about the two little pigs I had had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story. That means they tried to make it sound better and more exciting. With all of that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me into the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. The rest, they say, is history. But maybe you could give me a cup of sugar? The end. So, as you can see, my story is a little different than the other three you've heard this week. The three little pigs each picked different building materials for their homes. Do you remember what the materials were? We had straw, sticks, and brick. And the javelinas used tumbleweeds, saguaro cactus ribs, and adobe bricks. Do you remember which one was the strongest? Which one could I not blow down? Well, maybe you can talk with the adults in your house and find out what the house you live in is made of. I wonder if it's one of these materials or something else. The nice thing is when people build homes, they're all really strong. So I couldn't blow down any of the homes you live in. That I promise. Okay, do not be afraid of the wolf. It's all pretend. He's not going to come blow anybody's house down. This is all make-believe. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's series of books about the three little pigs. Miss Debbie saying bye. I'll see you again soon.
Your local library may have this book available for checkout. Remember to read every day. Happy reading!